Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
Summer are full of inflation.
They're paying more for everything.
My plan is to address inflation. It starts with a simple proposition. Respect the Fed.
To arm Ukraine with additional capabilities and advanced weaponry to defend themselves against the ongoing Russian aggression.
Again and again, we see gas prices rise.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Now, when Nancy Pelosi says we've seen gas prices rise, is that the price of her husband getting gas or purchasing gas? Is it more expensive because when you get arrested for drunk while driving?
That's not an appropriate question for you to ask.
But no, it is appropriate, Nancy. I mean, because, you're talking about the price of gas, and your husband's out there buying gas and getting gassed. I'm sure that was an expensive ride.
Isn't it amazing how hard it was to find that information on? I did a quick little search after it came out. I was like, nobody's talking about it but Fox News and a few of the conservative media. Nobody's talking about it. Can you imagine if it was, I don't know, Donald Trump's son or something?
Well, we've got a story we'll get to in just a second concerning Donald Trump's son. It's not really about him. It's about Joe Biden's son. But you talk about how it's depending on who you are, what the mainstream media coverage is. But first, and I've been avoiding this story as much as I could over the last 7 weeks. That's how long the Johnny Depp Amber Heard court cases. And the biggest interesting thing about this case is that anybody cared to cover it. I mean, even Fox News, if you go to their website every day, that was the lead story.
And I don't understand how, that's news, live court proceedings the whole time during the trial. And this is just between two people. They basically, countersued, one sued the other, countersued the other for defamation of character. So no other outside individuals harmed. But nothing on the Ghislaine Maxwell, whatever her name, Maxwell trial. Epstein's girlfriend, his madam or whatever. Yeah. When there was teenagers involved, and not 1 minute of coverage on that.
Anyway, Johnny Depp won his defamation case, sort of. The jury awarded him $15 million, and it was a split decision. It sounds like a boxing match. They did give Amber Heard $2 million in compensatory damages. I'm not even going to go into the details. And again, I've avoided this, but if you've just looked at the pictures of these people, I mean, first of all, who knows who's lying? I mean, I remember years ago, a friend of mine who was a police officer, there was an elderly, this is going back probably 30 years ago, an elderly gentleman who was a judge. He was a no-nonsense judge. This was 30 years ago, and he was probably in his 70s at the time. He probably should have been retired. And there was a case between two women that were arguing back and forth over something fairly insignificant, and he had to oversee the trial. And the one woman gets up and starts making these accusations against the other one, and the other woman jumps up and says, "Judge, he's lying. He's lying." And the judge looks and says, "I know she is. I know, but just be patient because you're going to get up on the stand and then you can lie." And it's sort of how the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing was. I mean, as Clark said before we went on the air, once you get out there and you're obviously lying, and you've been caught in it, everything else is tainted.
Yeah, and I occasionally when I got home at night, they would have something on the news about it, and they would show some video of inside their home, and basically it was two drunk, drugged out, overpaid actors
defecating in their own beds.
Yeah, and just
to get to the spouse. What sick human being does that?
But when Amber Heard, when she wrote that op-ed for, I don't know if it was the Times or the Washington Post.
I think it was in the Post.
Yeah. Whenever she wrote that and put all these, specific accusations against them, they weren't all that general. Some of them were pretty specific. When you start accusing people of some of the things that she did, you better be able to prove it.
Well, for anybody that looks at these Hollywood types in an envious way, if there's a silver lining to this story, it is do not be envious of morons. And I tell you what came to mind was the scripture, 1 Timothy 6, 4 through 10. He has an unhealthy craving for controversy and for quarrels about words which produce envy, dissension, slander, evil suspicions, and constant friction among people who are depraved in mind and depraved of the truth, imagining that godliness is a means of gain. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world, we can take nothing out of the world, but if we have food and clothing, these things will be content. But those who desire to be rich, and I'll add, and famous, fall into temptation, into a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into destruction and ruin. Bingo.
And put another way, play stupid games, get stupid prizes.
Yep. Stupid is as stupid does. Wow. Anyway, enough on Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. You know what? They deserve each other. Now, it will be, and I said that last word, but we had a discussion before we went on the air. Will this actually help Johnny Depp's career, or is he done? And unfortunately, I think it might help it.
Well, you know, I have to admit, as an actor, he's pretty talented. I mean, and some of the movies, not really. I wasn't a big Pirates of the Caribbean fan or anything like that, but some of the movies where he played some roles that were pretty serious characters, and he's talented, really is. But he'll probably land on his feet, and if he can stay sober, I'm sure they'll give him a job. They think they can make a buck.
Well, he's probably out celebrating right now, tipping the bottle right now.
I think he's in England playing music or something, I think.
Yeah, and he's probably tipping the bottle.
Yeah, he was not even at court.
I heard. Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
So anyway, we were talking earlier about the double standard the media has. If what information that has come out today through the Daily Mail about Hunter Biden, if that had come out, well, let's just back up. Remember when Donald Trump was president, any time that one of their kids would hiccup, it was a scandal.
Mm-hmm.
And the media was constantly trying to vilify the Trump family. It never came up with anything that stuck, but they were constantly trying to diminish the Trump family, and their goal was to make Trump look like a terrible father, a terrible president. And so if they go after the kids, who cares? Now, when Obama was in there, of course, his kids were minors at the time, but that was hands off. But to go after the Trump family, that was fine. Of course, they did go after Barron as well. He was a minor. But and to quote PJ Media, I'll paraphrase because they were a little bit more blunt about it. Say what you like about Donald Trump Jr., but you have never seen a picture of his Uncle Albert on the internet. And if you don't know what Uncle Albert is, you can imagine. You can't say the same thing about Hunter Biden's junk. Okay, that's what Uncle Albert is. It's all over the internet. Now, remember,
sick puppy.
He is a sick puppy.
He is a sick puppy.
Thank you, Donald.
Right on the clue there. And remember James Clapper and the 51 Intel specialist and all the mainstream media papers and publications and cable outlets. They all saw Hunter Biden's laptop as Russian disinformation.
Yeah, what was it, like 60-some, they said?
I don't know.
Yeah, they said,
50 or 60,
they kept throwing that number out, like 60-some wrote a letter, penned a letter, or
all these geniuses.
And how can you ever believe anything they say again? Believe any of these news media that just didn't question it at all? Basically ruined the guy's life that turned the laptop over to the FBI. It's just
So Hunter, and they don't say how they were able to examine all the details, but if you go to the Daily Mail, just go Google Daily Mail Hunter Biden, and you can see it in all its glory. There are screenshots off the laptop. There are photos off and videos off the laptop of Hunter Biden in extremely compromising positions with prostitutes. I mean, just blatant. I mean, a lot of it is out of focus, that kind of stuff to hide the private parts. But it's blatant. It's unbelievable. This guy not only was wanting to look at pornography, but he had certain things. He had certain geographical areas. Washington, D.C. and Annapolis, Maryland, for some reason he was fixated on that. He was fixated on women that were in their 40s. And he...
And 18 and 19-year-olds.
Yeah, that's true. And then he would, within a certain period of time, what was the percentage? There was, of the 281 websites Hunter Biden visited over a 6-day period, a third of them were pornographic. A little over a third were pornographic. 34%.
I'm surprised he had any energy to do anything.
And he was into, this is while he was on drugs. So he was high on whatever. I mean, this guy was going through money like unbelievable. And he was having an affair with his dead brother's wife. And then he got upset because he accused a friend of then having an affair with the dead brother's wife while he was in rehab. And and he was making videos of himself, pornographic videos of himself, and he was sending them to his dad.
Yeah, that was amazing to me that he would do that. And
our founding fathers have got to be rolling over in their graves. This is just beyond the pale, and you can't really say, well, that's a bunch of who shot John. I mean, listen, if this is Russian disinformation, Russia has really done a good job finding someone that looks exactly like Hunter Biden and putting him in these positions. And again, well, of course, remember too, Hunter Biden, when he did that, was it a 60 Minutes interview? He pretty much acknowledged that, that was my laptop. Yeah, that stuff's on there.
And part of me has some compassion for him, that the fact that he's a drug addict. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. He's a drug addict. But some of the pictures, like, I don't know if you saw the picture of him. He took a picture of himself in front of the mirror showing his rotted out, like, crack crystal meth teeth. I mean, he had, like, basically no teeth. And then he went and spent, like, one of the receipts on his computers or whatever, where he spent tens of thousands of dollars getting implants.
But can you imagine now? Of course, at this point,
and he's the smartest guy he knows.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
Hunter's the smartest guy I know, according to Uncle Joe.
According to Uncle Joe. But consider the fact that right now it appears that everything is out on the people know about it now, but yet consider how our national security was at risk.
Yeah,
the blackmail, and now listen, there's still the possibility that Joe could be blackmailed, that they have, that if he was sending it to his dad, that there's still a possibility of that. I mean, Hunter is pretty much water over the dam. I mean, he's a joke, but still. I mean, again, there's the picture if you're watching on Facebook, of his rotted out teeth that Benny was just talking. If you're watching on Cable 7 or that looks something out of a horror
film. Like a Halloween mask or something. That's an idea. A Hunter Biden Halloween mask. Have a joint sticking out of your mouth or a crack pipe. Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that this is out of the Biden crime family. I mean, this is the corruption. It's not just financial. I mean, this family is sick.
Yeah, and look, you also got to think about this is what we know about.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, good point.
I mean, what people that's really trying to get information to blackmail them, say like China or Ukraine or Russia or whatever, think about what kind of information they might have. And plus, there's some of these reports that talks about, they found this in the financial records. He had dozens and dozens had a burner phone app where he could make phone calls on false numbers. You basically
and
buy
just toss it.
Just toss it. So I mean, what was going on with that? You know.
Well, and look back at all the stupid foreign policy decisions Joe Biden has made.
Yeah.
In his brief tenure as president, I mean, he's made a lot of stupid decisions, or were they because he was being blackmailed? I mean, we think it's because he's an idiot.
Well, Joe, I would say Joe could have the defense is, look, I've made stupid decisions for 50 years in the Senate.
Yeah, so at least I'm consistent.
Yeah, I got a track record that I don't know what in the hell I'm talking about. So,
here's the other thing. Bill Clinton has got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Because he now looks like a saint. He now looks like a Boy Scout. I mean, what he did with Monica Lewinsky is, that's small potatoes.
Of course, it was in the Oval Office now.
Oh, listen, I'm that is, I shouldn't even laugh about that. You're right. But again, our founding fathers are just going back 50 years to those people that, were in the Oval Office. I mean, is this God's judgment on our nation? I'd say yes, it is. I'm sorry. Look at the leadership that we have in our nation today. It is unbelievable that things have gotten this bad.
Well, and I hate to keep harping on this, but the fact that the news media, most of the news media, way back the month before the election, just totally ignored this.
Yep.
Totally accepted the fact of. I mean, these are government officials that are saying that this is Russian disinformation. These are government officials that are lying. This is the FBI intentionally withholding this information during the election.
While they were promoting
a false
Russian
narrative.
dossier.
Yeah, I'm telling you, and I spent a lot of time earlier in my career reading a lot on Watergate. Watergate was nothing compared to this.
Yeah, compared to this.
Nothing compared to this.
I mean, it was worth pursuing, but again, and just how many years has it been? 50 years?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And wow, look how quickly the wheels have fallen off the car. Hey, we got to take another time out. Lots more to talk about. What do you think? 561-8255. We'll be right back.
Go to Greenville Toyota, where inventory is on the move. With truckloads of vehicles arriving daily. Shop over 200 incoming new certified and pre-owned vehicles. Plus, we'll buy your vehicle, sell it for cash, or trade into a new Toyota. Greenville Toyota.
Hey, we're at Marabello's in Greenville, the new location of Marabello's on Fire Tower Road. If you haven't been to this place yet, let me tell you, you are missing out. I want to introduce my friends from Marabello's. I've got Sal, Massimo, and Pietro here. These guys are awesome. Not only do they make great food, they do a lot of things for the community, which we're going to be talking about. But Sal, let's start with you. Let's talk about the new location of Marabello's on Fire Tower Road. I'm a regular here. I love it. You guys call it Old World Pizza. Tell us what's different about your pizza.
Well, we got two kinds of pizzas. We have the traditional, American style, and then we have the Old World Pizza, which is made with fresh mozzarella, and the way they do it in Italy.
Massimo, when you talk about doing this food right, it's authentic. And when I talk about authentic, you grew up in Italy, so you grew up with this food. You know how to make it.
Yeah, because we grew up in Italy, we know the ingredient, and everything we do from scratch. And the right ingredient it's been hard for us to bring over here. Now finally we can get the right ingredient to make a right pizza.
All right, now I'm going to talk to my friend Pietro here at Marabello's. He's got the Nino's shirt on today. We're going to talk about Nino's, which is another great dining experience, upscale dining experience, on another segment upcoming. But Pietro, let's talk about Marabello's. For people who've never been to Marabello's, what's the experience going to be like when they come here? Not only pizzas, but pastas, salads, sandwiches, you got it all.
Yes, we do. We have new sandwiches that we put in this new location, and we're going to spread it to the other locations.
The guys here at Marabello's have won national pizza competitions, so you know it's good. Thanks to Sal, Massimo, and Pietro. Folks, do yourself a favor. Come to the new Marabello's here on Fire Tower Road in Greenville, or Marabello's on Greenville Boulevard, or Marabello's in Washington on Carolina Avenue. Also, don't forget upscale dining at Nino's on Red Banks Road.
What do you see when you imagine life on the coast? Is it salty or sweet? Is it refined or a bit wild? Perhaps it's the perfect combination of everything you ever dreamed of. This is the very best of the best of living on the coast. Bow Coast.
Get on the move in a pre-owned vehicle from Greenville Toyota. Shop a huge selection of used cars, trucks, SUVs, even luxury vehicles with no charge maintenance. Plus a used vehicle warranty that covers you for 100,000 miles. Get to Greenville Toyota today.
Eastern Carolina's place to talk about
coronavirus. It's on the police.
Everything.
Give me liberty or give me COVID-19.
Right now, more news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Well, if you like it hot, you're going to like the weather, at least for the next couple of days. Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 96. Tomorrow night, clear with a low of 71. Thursday, lots of sunshine, again, a high 96. Partly cloudy skies on Thursday night with a low in the lower 70s. And looking to Friday, it does cool off a little bit, chance of rain. And so if you're going to the ball game on Friday, the good news is you won't be in the 90s. You will be in the 80s. And let's hope we do not have it doesn't look like, according to the weather map, it doesn't look like we're going to have a lot of rain, just a 40% chance on Friday. But remember those regionals a few years ago when we got to all those thunderstorms? We started the game and the game had to be stopped because of the thunderstorms. We lost our starting pitcher and we came back and ended up losing it.
I have been to every regional that East Carolina participated in within a few states. I mean, I've been to Virginia, South Carolina. I've been to, and I think there's been only one that hadn't been dramatically affected by weather. Somebody joked to me a couple of weeks ago when it was, we were so dry. So, well, I sure hope East Carolina will get a regional so we'll get some rain.
Well said. Well, it looks like we might on Friday, but it looks like the rest of the weekend will be all right. Weather brought to you by our friends at the Ironwood Golf and Country Club. Whether you're looking to spend your summer poolside, courtside, or greenside, Ironwood Golf and Country Club offers a variety of memberships tailored to fit your lifestyle with no initiation fee required. Headed to the beach? Got good news for you. Pack your clubs. Ironwood members receive reciprocal golf and dining privileges at the Beaufort Club in Beaufort and Compass Point Golf Club and Magnolia Greens, located near Wilmington. Contact Jenna Doyle, who's the membership director. Her number is 252-752-4653. And join in on the fun at Ironwood today. It is a great time. The pool is open. The courts are open. The golf is great. Go out and enjoy. We didn't talk about this yesterday. Over the weekend, there was a story that I guess was sent to a member of the North Carolina House, and she handed it over to Tim Moore. It was Representative Erin Parr. She was contacted by a constituent that there were flashcards being used to teach colors to children in preschool. And this was up in Wake County. And one of the flashcards had, quote, a couple on the flashcard. A pregnant man was on the flashcard.
Or it could have just been Bill Gates.
Inside joke, but yeah. Elon Musk.
That was Elon Musk tweet.
Tweeted a picture of Bill Gates as a pregnant woman, a pregnant man, I should say. So anyway, to make a long story short, that individual has now resigned. But again, we were just talking during the break. Public schools are just getting more and more woke teachers in the school system. And listen, if you're conservative in the school system, stay there. We need you. I'm not condemning you. But it's pretty obvious with the stories that we see come across our desk daily that the woke crowd has a huge influence in what is happening in the public school system. And if you're a parent with kids, you might think your elementary school is safe. It is everywhere. And I mean, we had Taylor Keith in here late last year talking about the pornographic books that are available in the school libraries here in Pitt County.
And by that same time, when Mark Robinson had some type of committee he put together, a task force, I guess, and the progressives just laughed it off of. There's no critical race theory in public schools. There's none of this nonsense in political school. Oh yeah, there is public schools. Yeah, it is. It is. Just proving it.
Jackie Milazzo was the parent who reported the flashcard. Now, what's amazing about this, surprising I should say, is she said of the teacher, she is an amazing teacher who has worked tirelessly in an unpredictable school year to provide a safe, loving, and inclusive classroom for our children to grow. Well, I find that sort of contradictory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is she doing an amazing job if she's putting this kind of propaganda? But the other interesting thing is this parent said she is an amazing teacher. She? I mean, are we allowed to use that kind of terrible language that you called this person a she?
It might have been on her desk or preferred pronouns on her desk or something,
And there's all kinds of stories out right now. I think there's one's up in Illinois where children, not just the teachers, but the children can come under criminal charges by not using the right pronoun.
Oh, yeah.
Who the heck knows what the right pronoun is?
Yeah, they wanted to charge these middle schoolers with sexual harassment because they used a wrong pronoun. I mean, imagine that being on a middle schooler's resume for he'll never get a job because at some point down the road somebody will just see it was sexual harassment. They won't know it's some stupid nonsense about not using the right pronoun.
Yeah, and we live in a bizarro world.
Yeah,
we absolutely live in a bizarro world.
I think that Wake County teacher was just trying to get her woke merit badge, I think.
Well, she probably has it.
And she'll probably get, land on her feet and get some kind of position at Cal Berkeley or something, or UNC Chapel Hill. Same difference.
The Blaze had a story, I think it was yesterday. The British Broadcasting Company is under fire after staff complained that the news agency altered a rape victim's quote to avoid misgendering her biological male transgender attacker's pronouns, according to the London Times. You've got to have a program to figure out what they're talking about.
Hold on, let me write that down again. Say that again. I'm confused.
The paper reported that the BBC's diversity team made the unethical and disrespectful decision to change a rape victim's quotes in an October 2021 article about lesbian women who feel pressure to have sex and relationships with biological men who present themselves as transgender women. In the article, one lesbian victim recounted her experience with a transgender woman who physically forced her to have sex with him after a date and allegedly threatened to ostracize her if she refused. Now, let me explain. You had a lesbian woman who thought she was going out with a lesbian woman who was actually a biological man who, when he got this biological woman alone, he raped her. But she had nothing to fear about going in to the dating relationship because she thought it was a biological female, but it was a transgender. I mean, the world has gone nuts.
And people just a few short years ago, last 6 or 8 years, when conservatives would say, hey, you're going down this slope that sooner or later we'll be here, and they laughed it off.
Yep.
No, you're just being, that's just not. We're already
You're being an alarmist.
Alarmist. We're already past the alarmist stage.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gone further than what we even threatened it would go. Yeah. But it's nuts. I mean, we got to sit there and say, if I made a statement that a man cannot get pregnant, and I work for some public university, I might would lose my job.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and these are our institutions of higher education. By the way, Washington Examiner is reporting this afternoon that the U.S. Marine Corps is showing, or corpse if you're Obama, the U.S. Marine Corps is showing off its artsy side for LGBT Pride Month. In a tweet, the Corps showed images of standard issue bullets painted in rainbow colors placed in the strap of a combat helmet. On the strap, the words are "proud to serve." The tweet: throughout June, the United States Marine Corps takes #Pride and recognizing and honoring the contributions of our LGBTQ service members. We remain committed to fostering an environment free from discrimination and defend the values in treating all equally with dignity and respect. Well, if you're going to treat all equally, then why are you going out of your way to elevate a small minority? I mean, you're not treating everybody equally. Are you going to give every group out there that has 5% or less of them, are you going to give them a special month? Are you going to give them special colored bullets for them? I mean, what happened to the day when it was just the few, the proud, the Marines? What happened to that motto? Now we've got to have a quote to the, the reason why the Marine Corps was strong, not because diversity, but because of unity. I mean, you call it a combat unit where you left your race at the door. You left, certain things that were secondary or tertiary, you left them at the door.
Well, prior to I guess the Biden administration. Don't ask, don't tell lasted.
That was Clinton.
Yeah, that was during Clinton, but I mean, they got rid of that just during.
It didn't last 10 years.
Yeah, it didn't last 10 years, and I mean, honestly, I don't ask, don't tell. I mean, that's about as fair as it is. Just your sexual preference to me,
right,
has nothing to do if you can do the job or not. I don't care. Just do your job. Do your damn job. Period. That's what it should be about.
I don't disagree with that, but I mean, look at this other story out of the BBC. I mean, are we going to have that kind of situation in a platoon?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I am sorry, but we live in a world of biological females and biological males, and for 99% or whatever the magic number is, that's how they want to live life. And suddenly you put a percentage or two in there and you elevate them. I mean, what is this saying to the general heterosexual population that are Marines? Whether they're male or female, they're living their heterosexual lives, and I'm sorry, it is a bizarro world, and it's getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, God forbid we get into it with China, but if we have to, we need the Marines of Okinawa and Guadalcanal. We don't need these Marines.
I mean, Russia and China have got to be looking at these kind of things, and are you kidding me? Yeah. Are you kidding me?
There's more
are they really doing that over there?
They just need to focus on other things. It don't need to be a topic of discussion.
Yeah. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
You know that moment when you realize your hair color is way past its prime? Or that you need a change and you hope it comes in the form of perfectly sun-kissed highlights? And at Fantastic Sam's, we offer real salon services at real people prices. Our color specialists can do it all. They make grays disappear, layer in subtle highlights, or help you finally find that perfect shade of red. All for real reasonable prices.
It's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive.
Babe, it's 8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers. Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Back to the show that really makes you think.
He is a genius.
He's all powerful.
He brought a kind of heat.
He could be the best. Just don't hurt yourself, okay? More news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
BizPac Review and Fox News is an extension of a story that Tucker Carlson had on last night. Matt Gaetz was the representative from Florida, was on with Tucker Carlson last night. Came out with a really interesting, bizarre, unbelievable story, but he's come out, he and Jim Jordan have come out, and apparently they received a letter from a whistleblower that works at Perkins Coie, the law firm where Michael Sussman had worked, and they were the key DNC Hillary Clinton attorneys, to the point that the DNC has paid, now I don't know if this is over a year or over several years, but they have paid them $42 million.
Wow.
It turns out, now, I mean, I guarantee you they're their largest client. I mean, it's hard to believe that they would have a client larger than $42 million, especially if that was an annual amount. But the FBI, according to this whistleblower, and according to Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan, who sounds like they've done some follow-up, in fact, they said they had a whistleblower, and they got a letter from Perkins Coie acknowledging and admitting that there was some crazy situation where the FBI and Perkins Coie, now I don't know if it was in the main Perkins Coie office or it was an off-site office. They weren't really clear about that. But Perkins Coie and the FBI ultimately were sharing office space. Mm-hmm. They had an office within Perkins Coie. And guess who the main guy that oversaw the relationship with the FBI and the office within Perkins Coie? It was Michael Sussman.
Michael Sussman.
He was in charge of elections.
Did Mark Elias work with that firm as well?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. And you're going to tell me that, the last election was perfectly fair. Oh, there was no corruption in that last. What are you talking about, Lambrecht? You're a moron. Come on. Yeah. And nothing on the Hunter Biden laptop, is there? No, that's not right. Yeah, nothing on there. And Russian disinformation. Oh, yeah. That's
and they disguise it as legal fees on the campaign finance reports for the DNC, for the Clinton campaign. It was for this dossier. You know it was, this fake Steele dossier.
Trump has come out, and he is telling the Pulitzer Board, giving them notice, you either come back and remove the awards that you handed out to organizations like the Washington Post and the New York Times for your coverage, for their coverage of the Russia collusion hoax, or I'm going to take you to court. The letter from the Trump administration administrator, Marjorie Miller, notes that the former president previously requested on October 3rd and October 15th last year that the Pulitzer Prize Board revoke its prizes for national reporting that were awarded to the Times and the Post for their purportedly deep-sourced, relentlessly reported coverage in the public interest that dramatically furthered the nation's understanding of Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election and its connection to Donald Trump, the president's elect transitions team, and his eventual administration. As Trump writes, there is no dispute that the Pulitzer Board award to those media outlets was based on false and fabricated information that they published. The continuing publication and recognition of prizes on the board's website is the distortion of fact and a personal defamation that will result in the filing of litigation if the board cannot be persuaded to do the right thing on its own. In light of additional recent evidence that the articles for which the prize was awarded contained incontrovertibly false information that misled the public, I again call on your organization to maintain its own credibility by rescinding the prize to the New York Times and the Washington Post. And he's right. Look, there are still people out there that would look at something like the New York Times and the Washington Post and the Pulitzer Prize Award and saying, therefore, it must be accurate.
Yeah, it means nothing anymore, just like some of the Nobel Prizes.
Right.
Like,
it's a joke.
It's a joke.
But and I think Trump's point is very, very valid, that, you know, I might be a notable public figure. Obviously he was. He's president of the United States. But this is a deliberate attempt to go out of your way to besmirch the man and his family and those in his administration. Mm-hmm. Clear lies.
Well, I don't know what the rules are for public people, but you know, hey, we just talked about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, defamation of character. I mean, if you knowingly put out false information, I mean, you're defaming the guy's character, whether he's president or not. You know, he had a future before he was president, and now, you know, banks won't do business with him now just because it's like he's taboo and all this kind of stuff.
Well, and I mean, think about it. I mean, it looks like he's going to run again for the presidency. I mean, this would be pretty big if, and this is why they probably won't do it. The Pulitzer Prize board won't do it. I mean, obviously they got to be in the tank with liberals, but if they were to pull those prizes, that would be a feather in Trump's cap as he goes forward with his aspirations to be reelected to the presidency.
Well, if he's going to run again, I just got to say he better toughen up and stay focused, because I'm telling you, we're going to see it in the midterms. We're getting ready to have the full-scale assault on the next election of, you know what, this COVID is really ramping back up, and we can't vote.
COVID or monkeypox or whatever it is.
I mean, I can see it coming.
Yep. By the way, speaking of corruption, now this is bizarre too. Anita Dunn, the senior Biden aide, best known for damage control for Hollywood rapist Harvey Weinstein, is in line to take over as the White House chief of staff.
Wow.
Now, what's interesting about this is she was hired as a temporary to help Joe Biden with his State of the Union speech. And she's been there ever since. But because she was a temporary person, she didn't have to go through the confirmation process. But I'm sorry, again, you know, if you see a bunch of rats running around, you got to realize there's some garbage somewhere. And this woman, I don't know if she's a rat or not, but I mean, when your client is Harvey Weinstein, when your son is doing the things he's doing,
that means she'll do anything for the dollar. What it boils down to.
What do we call those people?
Yeah.
You know, the other interesting thing about this article was, remember when Joe Biden was running, and I think he even said this in his inauguration speech, that, you know, the lobbyists were not going to have a place in the White House anymore. Another person named, now, by the way, this woman, Anita Dunn, is potentially the successor to Ron Kaine, the current White House chief of staff. But another name that was mentioned as the current White House chief of staff, the successor to Kaine, is a guy named Steve Ricchetti, longtime Biden advisor. He is the brother of Jeff Ricchetti, who is an influential lobbyist whose firm Ricchetti Inc. has experienced suddenly an influx of business since Biden took office. But this is the guy that came out and said, no, we're not going to have any lobbyists in the Biden White House. You're going to have a potential chief of staff whose brother is a big lobbyist. You can't make it up.
It looks like that cesspool in Washington. It's amazing how many are married to each other.
Oh, yeah.
When you get in these, particularly the Democrat Party, I mean, their spouse is like a lobbyist. Or you have a chief news correspondent, White House correspondent, that their spouse is a lobbyist, or their spouse is a member of the DNC.
How do you call? What kind of inbreeding is that? Liberal inbreeding.
Yeah.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We're on location today at Fabric and Home Furnishings, Arlington Village on Arlington Boulevard here in Greenville. One of my favorite places in town, one of my favorite people in town. My buddy Lisa Pendry is here. And Lisa, when I walked in this morning, the place always looks great, but there's something new here. You got a brand new room. Tell us what's going on.
We do, Henry. We are opening a Norwalk gallery, and we are so excited because this company is so custom. Been in business since 1902, built in Norwalk, Ohio. Tons of wood colors to choose from, over 900 fabric choices, and I've got a design team that can make it fabulous and help you find unique styles.
So when you say custom, a custom furniture line, what does that mean exactly?
You can literally choose the cushion, the fabric. You can even choose the thread color with this company. So wood choices, amazing fabrics, put 3 fabrics on 1 sofa, as much fun as you want to have.
And that's what people want these days. They want it to be exactly the way they want it, so you can get that with Norwalk.
You can.
All right, what else is new? You've always got some other interesting things going on here.
Well, we have some new fabrics that have arrived, but I've also, in this new showroom, I've added a friend of mine that's opened a company in Hickory, North Carolina called Hickory Luxe. Done business with him for a long time, but we're adding to that because he can deliver in 6 to 8 weeks instead of 8 months like some of these companies are, doing right now.
And as we always say, Fabric and Home Furnishings is a furniture store and so much more. And the so much more is you guys offer design services. I know you're a designer yourself. You have a design team here, so you can offer that full service for people.
I do. I've got the best design team ever. We do commercial design and residential. And there's a lot of decisions that go into what you want your home to be. So we send somebody right out to the house for a flat one-time fee, not an hourly fee. And we analyze it, make a friend, and make it easy and painless and fabulous for people.
Fabric and Home Furnishings here in Arlington Village. My friend Lisa Pendry. It's a furniture store and so much more. Come see them.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station.
Ride shotgun with your 5 o'clock drive.
And the drive home should be a delight.
This is Tom Lamprecht with more news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Tom, Benny, and Clark, and Joe Biden, who has come out and said, the Second Amendment and the Constitution, they're not absolute. I think the Constitution's absolute there, Joe. But he said, quote, you couldn't buy a cannon when the Second Amendment was passed. You couldn't go out and purchase a lot of weapons. Guess what? Even the Washington Post, the liberal Washington Post, has given him 4 Pinocchios. And indeed, up to, 1936, I think it was, you could pretty much buy anything you wanted to buy.
Yep.
I mean, it's only been in the last less than 100 years that there were certain limitations. But Joe is wrong again. But he seems to think, well, if I say it long enough and often enough, people will believe me.
If the Washington Post is calling them on it, it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. Another interesting poll out, a majority of Americans favor teachers being armed. In the wake of the deadly, now it's not a huge majority, but in the wake of the deadly Uvalde Elementary School shooting, the heated topic of gun laws is once again a major forefront in people's minds, though a majority of Americans believe arming teachers will make schools more safe. A recent poll by the Trafalgar Group surveyed over 1,000 general election voters and found that 57.5% of the voters believe schools are somewhat or much more dangerous without teachers who carry a legal firearm and who are properly trained to use it. That leaves just a mere 30% who oppose it. I've thought that for a long time. Now, I don't think you arm all teachers, but in a school that has 20 or 30 teachers / administrators within that building, certainly you can find a teacher who is either already trained or is willing to be trained. I think it's a deterrent. I think it's something that ought to be pursued.
For that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we got to run. We're off tomorrow. We'll be back on Friday. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right. What do you see when you imagine life on the coast? Is it salty or sweet? Is it refined or a bit wild? Perhaps it's the perfect combination of everything you ever dreamed of. This is the very best of the best of living on the coast. Bow Coast.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive
Babe,
heartwarming
it's
story.
8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
And we're on location at one of my favorite places in the whole planet because this is some of the best food you're ever going to eat in your life. We are at Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. It's one of my hangouts. It's one of the places that I love. I got my friend Pietro Pasalacqua. How'd I do?
You did great.
Let's talk about the food. What makes this place? I know it's special Italian from authentic Italians, but tell us why it's so special.
Because everything we do, it's really what we came up on the menu from what we did at home, from my grandparents, my parents. So it's exactly what we eat at home, and that's the way we cook. That's why it's special.
And the atmosphere in this place is special also. From the bar to the two dining areas. You got two different dining areas, and now the weather's nice, so there's going to be a lot of folks that want to eat outside.
Yeah, we have two rooms. One room is designed a little different. We're also working on the patio to make it more attractive and more useful in the summer with a cocktail service. And we're always improving our services.
And, of course, my friends here, my buddy, Chef Massimo, who I love, and Sal and Pietro, you guys do a great job here. Not just Italian, but I had a great pork chop here the other night. You got great steaks, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're also adding filet mignon in the future on our menu. And Massimo is coming out with a really good side dishes for it. And so we're really excited to come out with new meats and fish dishes.
All right, Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. Same people that give you Marabello's and the great pizza that you get at Marabello's, but this is fine dining at Nino's. If you haven't been here,